Happy Friday and welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, we always love doing this. And Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine. Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I can't believe we're already at the first Friday of June 2025.
I know it is so hard to believe. Brandon, can you tell our audience what our theme is for this month for Friday?
So yes, the theme for June Fridays is all about Lucille Ball.
Yes. And our first show that we're going to talk about is I Love Lucy.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for us to get into it. This is truly a pioneering series of television, and it began in October of 1951, October 15th.
Wow, that's so long ago. But yes, and the TV show itself is about two couples who are good friends who live together in the same apartment complex. We have two different couples. We have the Ricardos and the Mertz. Ricky Ricardo is a nightclub owner, and Fred Mertz actually owns the apartment complex itself. And then in general, Lucy's very excitable and can accidentally stir up trouble. And that is the basis of our show.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what'd you think about this first episode?
Oh, I really like the first episode. And let me tell you just a little bit about exactly the first episode. In the first episode, Fred and Ethel actually celebrate 18 years of marriage, but they can't decide on their two activities that they have the choice of doing on their anniversary. The girls, of course, want to go to a nightclub together with their spouses, or the boys, meaning Fred, wants to go to the fight, and that would include Ricky going along with them. Of course, both have invited each other to these events, but they don't want to do one or the other. So that is where we're at. Which one will they do, the nightclub or the fight?
And that goes right with the title of the episode, which is titled "The Girls Want to Go to a Nightclub."
Guess which one the girls want to do.
And yeah, and overall, I mean, I felt it was a very straightforward episode. Definitely a lot of laughs, definitely a bit of physical comedy, as Lucille Ball and company are very much known to do, and sort of a pioneer in that space, actually.
Yeah, that is true. Lucille Ball does a lot of physical comedy. I have seen, I'm pretty sure, every episode of Lucy, and and I do enjoy them. I will say I enjoy the episodes, and I know I'm going too far, but I enjoy the episodes when Little Ricky's born a little bit better. But I do enjoy watching Lucy.
And I hope that you love Lucy.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I love Lucy.
That's the spirit.
Yes, and what about you, Brandon? What are your thoughts about this episode and then watching the show for other episodes also?
Yeah, I will say that for I Love Lucy, I like that they are always willing to push the boundaries in terms of television, and again, with physical comedy, quite literally, and the various misadventures. And I do agree that I like even though I have definitely not seen anywhere close to all of the Lucy episodes, I do like the ones in later seasons a little bit more, only because it starts to add somewhat of a more serial element, and it's not per se as silly per se. But I like that like I said, for the show, it's always willing to push those boundaries, and that nothing's off limits for the series.
Yeah, and I will say this for the first episode, this is not the episode does not have an initiating event, which is what we find that, or I have found, has been the most helpful when I watch shows, that there's something to kind of start the series itself. This particular episode just kind of begins as an everyday life situation, but they did a great job of actually starting, and not a lot of shows are able to do that very well. And so they did a great job of introducing everyone, but yet having it be just happens to be a day for them.
Yeah, it really is so hard when shows do that, but I felt that this one did it and did it well.
They did. They really did it well. And Brett, and one of the things that we always talk about is why did we actually pick the show? Well, we've talked about Lucy for a while, and we have tried to figure out what to do with her. And so, in regards to a theme or something like that, so we decided just to give for, like you mentioned before, June will be just the Lucy month. And so every Friday, as we do our regular first episode Fridays, the first episodes on Fridays for the month of June, will be about, it'll be in regards to one of Lucy's shows.
Yeah, and Mom, I'm really excited for us to go through these shows. And truly, both her shows and Lucille Ball herself were very pioneering figures within television. And given that our channel focuses on discussing television, especially first episodes, that I thought it was most appropriate for us to discuss her shows because, I mean, the first television season overall was 1946, and this first episode, I Love Lucy, was 1951. So it truly was one of the first first successful series on television.
Yes, it sure was. It sure was. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Lucy Brandon?
Yeah, so before we go into connections, I did want to ask, so, Mom, with your knowledge of I Love Lucy, what would you say that this series has done to help sort of pioneer future aspects of television?
Well, it's like you mentioned, they do a lot of the physical comedy, which I think they did a wonderful job of doing. They tried to push the boundaries a little bit for that time period by introducing some things, meaning that things as simple as Lucy being able to say she's pregnant. She wasn't able to say that. She had to use some different words, but the fact that they talked about it in the show itself was kind of new for that time period. We have couples there who did not have children, and which is kind of newer for that time period also. And Lucy who wanted to be in show business. They just did a lot of things that and then they had the serial aspect like you talked about. We had some certain themes. For example, when Lucy goes to California, I mean, we had a whole theme of just California shows. When they moved to the country, there's a whole theme of just moving to the country. So it was not just episodic episodes. There were episodes that kind of built upon each other.
Yeah, and even for myself, I'm very big research enthusiast. Is that a lot of the behind the scenes work of the series laid the groundwork for future shows, especially sitcoms, and so like the free camera setup that was done. This also helped move shows uh, from New York to Hollywood and use some film techniques to re-innovate shows, and it was made to be syndicated. I mean, that wasn't really a thing back then. That wasn't a consideration, but they knew that they wanted to keep these archives to be reused, and now, we can watch this episode almost 74 years later.
Yeah, and I think they were the first show to actually show us a rerun. Um, I think I read that somewhere. So I mean, they just did a lot of innovative things. And then also there are husband and wife team working together, which is extremely important too.
Not only that, but they produced the show as well with their own studio, Desilu.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah, and as a fun fact, right before we head into our connections, is that the modern CBS studios that produces shows like The Neighborhood, for instance, and many of the shows currently on CBS, that is actually a legal successor to the original Desilu because Lucille Ball ended up selling the company to Paramount, which is now the owners of CBS.
Oh wow. Well, that's good information to know. All right, Brandon, you said you had connections. What kind of connections do you have?
Yes, I do. And so, first of all, I want to highlight the two of the three directors, Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. And so, both of them, alongside the other writer, Jess Oppenheimer, the three of them wrote a majority of the first 5.5 seasons of I Love Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I want to highlight the director too, Mark Daniels. He directed quite a bit of the first 2 seasons of I Love Lucy as well.
Okay.
But Mark Daniels, alongside the director, alongside writers Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. Um, the three of them significantly work together in the future for a majority of the series Alice.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's incredible.
So yeah, and so Madeline Pugh and Bob Carroll Jr. Starting in season two, they wrote a majority of the series Alex and were executive producers on the series, and then the director Mark Daniels, beginning in also in season two, he directed quite a bit of that series, and so nothing to do with Lucille Ball per se, but they had significant roles in it. Although Desi Arnaz did make one cameo in Alice.
Yeah, he did. I do remember that episode. All right. Is there anything else you want to add in for Lucy, Brandon?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean not at all. I mean, I know I was a little hesitant at first going into I Love Lucy just because I know that while it is a groundbreaking show, that some of the day to day episodic parts are a little bit more sillier than modern day television. But I will say that the quality held up really well.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And like I said, and it is a fun show. It continues to be a fun show to watch. And so we thank everybody for watching today. Oh, I didn't rate it. So as you know, our great shows 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. I gave this episode a 4. Um, I just thought it's a fun show to watch. And so once more, let's say we thank everybody for watching today.
Yes, we definitely do. And also, I agree with the four.
Okay, wonderful. And we will see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, bye bye.